Today, Precarious plays
Phantom Brave. Laser beams, sword strikes. It's anime. They're pretty close to one another.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. Let me get right down to it. Now, did that staff get blown up? That's that's a little problem I have with this game where... No, it's fine.
Yes!
Stuff gets de-equipped if it gets broken.
Oh. Okay.
But it's fine. You asked me about Disgaea 5.
Yeah. I was wondering how conclusions, similarities to this property, etc. How'd it go? You were bothered by the localization, I know, but the game bits of it, we talked about that less.
I would say that in the end, I already think of it less fondly than any other NIS title. I mean, I would say that I have been left with the same impression that I had after the first time that I played Disgaea 2. I did not like Disgaea 2 that much the first time I played it.
Mm-hmm.
I have come to appreciate it more. Basically, after I played like the introduction to Disgaea 3,
yeah,
that was part of it. I just liked Disgaea 2 more in comparison. The thing that I appreciate about Disgaea 2, it turns out that like it's pretty easy to forget them. There's really only a strong story focus on two characters, Adele and Rosalind.
Mm-hmm.
Is that her name?
I think so. You've said that name before.
Yeah, so Adele and Rosalind, they're the two main characters, and then I think in a pretty slick move, there's a little bit of comedy relief from Adele's little brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
So they occupy the role, like mechanically, of a character like Flan or Etna.
Yeah.
But they're really usually just there for like a little bit of like color commentary. They'll chime in, but they don't devote chapters of narrative to them, right?
They don't make any significant changes in the world. They're just like, we're underfoot. Haha.
I mean, they just have like they have a mechanical focus instead of a narrative one.
Gotcha.
That's the important thing that they do.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I remember it. I think that Adele's sister has a greater importance in the franchise moving forward, like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I always forget that she isn't like a post-game character. Etna is there too, but because she's just there, like the stated reason for her being there is that she and Laharl had a spat, and she's just trying to. So like the conceit of the game is that Adele wants to fight an overlord that's making things bad for his netherworld.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think it's actually another world. It's not supposed to be. Like his entire family, they've all been turned into like half demons because of the influence of this individual.
Yeah.
I guess I just blow up the item so it'll be shorter then. Oh,
what?
they survived. Well, barrels are hardy.
Why don't you just teleport somebody in there?
Oh,
You put a people in there?
I wasn't Morona at the time, but yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, that's awkward, but I mean, this game is awkward.
No, that's not awkward. That's clever. There's a difference.
Turn one of those into a people and then throw them. Yes, you shoot lasers at those rabbits armed with mushrooms.
No, that was way better than lasers. That was, it's a bomb attack. So imagine a row of bombs chaining an explosion.
Out from a knife.
No, from a bomb. They would all be bombs because it just copies the sprite. But instead, yeah, it's a row of knives. Which still, I mean, that's a very readable special attack.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not.
So, Disgaea 2, Etna is there, and Adele's little sister is quite taken with her. She wants to grow up to be like Etna. And based on like post-game content mostly, I think, of the later games, eventually she succeeds. She winds up being a very sexy, confident overlord, I think is the gist of it. Yeah, so I think that really just having like 2 new characters, I think that borrowing a protagonist from another game, an earlier game, who already has a defined personality, was a smart move. And just having essentially 2. I know I'm running into an item, but am I also getting... Yeah, probably. Probably fine. Yeah, easy. Just having 2 new characters to focus on for a lot of the game was smart. But Disgaea 5, it sort of ended with a whimper. I just was in the post game and I realized
Let's go.
how to describe it. What I was thinking of as like my advanced team, the characters that I was training up to lead the way and make it easier to train other characters, they could do enough of what was available to be done already, right?
Right.
Flan and Sicily, they have a combo attack together, and because of the way rewards work in that game, basically you can use magic change, which I think I've described before. You can use that to multiply XP and mana across a group. So by having a bunch of monsters, or just any character that has temporarily reincarnated as a monster, right? No matter where you intend to have them end up, they can all just sort of dogpile on Sicily and Flan, and then they can use dual holy arrows. Is that what it's called? Double holy arrows, I think, is the name of it. They can use that. It's a very high base power attack that targets a 3x3 grid. They can use that especially in bonus maps that are like designed with this kind of play in mind. And level up a whole crowd of friends. So that was the plan. But I realized in the process of getting them to like a stat capped 9,999.
Yeah.
That unless you are really keen on, really desperate to seek out additional challenges for yourself,
Yeah.
they just sort of ran out of incentives. And I think I mentioned before that it does get a lot sloppier the further you play. Like the flaws, just like the HUD flaws, right? The interface.
Like just like the GUI, like the buttons on the screen?
Not the buttons on the screen. You wind up with access to hundreds of evilties.
Oh.
And there is a system of sorting, right? Like you can sort them, but I would not say that it is up to the challenge of dealing with hundreds of these things. Especially, they didn't really need to be there. They could have made a much tighter experience, and it still would have been tactically flexible. They did not need to have... They could have easily only had every class provide you with like 3 evilties and a unique evilty. They could have dropped it by half, and it still would have been more than enough stuff.
Look at Ingot Steelman's hat.
He's a sophisticated gentleman. Oh, that's even better, actually.
Oh, yes. No, I like the tiny top hat. Oh, my God.
No, it's a tiny little showman's hat.
Like
of the hello, my baby, hello, my honey
Yeah,
variety.
like the straw hat.
Right.
Yeah.